Subconscious Secrets: Unlock the Power of Your Subconscious Mind full audiobook. Written and published by Insight and Impact Audiobook. Before we start, please like and subscribe to support the channel. It helps us grow and share this message with more people around the world. Now let's begin. Introduction. You are not fully in control, but you could be. Right now, as you read these words, your heart is beating, your breath is flowing, and your thoughts are being filtered through a lens you didn't consciously create. That lens, the invisible operating system of your life, is your subconscious mind. It runs in the background 24/7. It stores every experience, every emotion, every belief you've ever accepted, true or not. Scientists estimate that up to 95% of your behavior, reactions, and decisions are driven not by conscious thought, but by this silent force beneath the surface. That means you're living most of your life on autopilot, guided by a mind you barely understand. But what if you could access it? What if you could rewrite the patterns, reshape the story, and take back control from the inside out? This book is your map into that hidden territory. Through a mix of psychology, neuroscience, real-life stories, and suspenseful case studies, we'll explore how the subconscious mind works, and more importantly, how to work with it. You'll learn how childhood programming, daily habits, trauma, emotions, and even dreams are rooted in your subconscious. And you'll discover the tools to transform it. Visualization, meditation, reframing, and deep self-awareness. You don't need more motivation. You need to change the code that runs your internal world. Because once you master the subconscious, you no longer just survive, you create. Chapter 1. The Hidden Room. The subconscious mind is the vast, silent force beneath the surface of your awareness. If the conscious mind is the spotlight, focused, deliberate, and analytical, then the subconscious is the darkened backstage, pulling the strings from behind the curtain. It stores everything you've ever learned, felt, or experienced, even if you don't remember it. From the way you tie your shoes to the way you react when someone criticizes you, the subconscious is constantly running programs that determine your behavior without your input. Unlike the conscious mind, which processes information slowly and can only handle one task at a time, the subconscious mind is lightning fast and multitasking constantly. It doesn't speak in words. It speaks in images, emotions, sensations, and patterns. It doesn't debate, it accepts. Whatever gets repeated with emotional intensity gets imprinted. This is why the subconscious plays a dominant role in shaping your personality, habits, emotional responses, and even physical health. You don't need to think about how to walk, breathe, or flinch when a ball flies at your face. Those actions are managed effortlessly by your subconscious. In fact, research in neuroscience suggests that up to 95% of your decisions, reactions, and behaviors are subconscious. That means the person you think you are, the one making conscious choices, may only be responsible for a small fraction of your daily life. The rest is driven by an invisible force you rarely question, yet live with every moment. Understanding how this hidden mind works is the first step toward reclaiming control, and ultimately transformation. Why the subconscious mind controls up to 95% of your behavior. Most people believe they're consciously making decisions throughout the day, choosing what to wear, what to say, how to feel. But in reality, up to 95% of your behavior is controlled by the subconscious mind. That staggering number comes from cognitive neuroscience research showing that the vast majority of your actions are automatic. Shaped by ingrained patterns, habits, beliefs, and emotional reactions you've repeated over years. The brain is built for efficiency, and the subconscious is its shortcut system. Instead of constantly analyzing every decision from scratch, your mind pulls from past programming to save time and energy. Think about how you brush your teeth, check your phone, lock your door, respond to a familiar voice, or flinch at a sudden sound. You don't stop to think. You just do it. These routines, many of which were formed in childhood or through repeated exposure, operate beneath conscious awareness. They become hardwired scripts your brain runs on autopilot, freeing up the conscious mind to focus on novelty or problem solving. But the danger is clear. If that programming is flawed, outdated, or self-destructive, it still runs unless you override it intentionally. That's why someone can want success but keep sabotaging themselves, or desire love but keep pushing it away. Their conscious mind says yes, but their subconscious script says no, and the script always wins. Until you bring that hidden programming into awareness, it will silently govern your life, and you'll call it fate. Chapter 2. Programming the Child Within. How childhood experiences wire your subconscious. Childhood is not just a phase of life. It is the foundation upon which the rest of your psychological architecture is built. During the first 7 years of life, a child's brain is in an accelerated state of development, functioning primarily in lower-frequency brainwave states like theta and alpha. These are the same states adults enter during hypnosis or deep meditation, where the mind becomes highly impressionable. In this stage, a child absorbs information directly into the subconscious without analyzing, filtering, or questioning it. Everything, from how they are spoken to how emotions are handled in the home, whether affection is given freely or conditionally, and how mistakes are treated, becomes data the subconscious stores as truth. If a child receives love only when they achieve something, they may grow up believing their worth is conditional. If they are constantly criticized, they may internalize the idea that they are inherently flawed. These messages do not arrive in full sentences. They are absorbed through tone, consistency, emotion, and repetition. Over time, these experiences wire the subconscious with emotional blueprints that guide adult behavior, often without the individual realizing it. What you fear, what you crave, how you deal with conflict or love, and even how you speak to yourself today may all be rooted in experiences your younger mind didn't fully understand, but never forgot. Childhood doesn't just shape memory, it silently programs identity. Case study: fear of failure traced back to a single comment from age 6. At first, Marcus didn't understand why he always held himself back. He was talented, intelligent, and creative. Yet every time an opportunity came that required him to take a risk, he hesitated. Whether it was applying for a leadership role, starting a business, or even sharing his ideas in a meeting, he would find excuses to stay silent or stay small. On the surface, it looked like humility, but inside, it felt like paralysis, a deep, invisible fear that something terrible would happen if he tried and failed. It wasn't until he started working with a cognitive behavioral therapist that a memory surfaced, one he hadn't thought about in years. He was 6 years old, sitting in his first-grade classroom. His teacher had just handed back a drawing he'd proudly submitted for a school art competition. He had worked on it for hours, pouring his imagination onto the page. As she looked at it, she smiled weakly and said, "Not bad, but don't get your hopes up. You're not the best in class." The comment was casual, even well-meaning in tone. But to Marcus' young mind, wide open and unguarded, it felt like rejection. That one sentence planted a subconscious belief: trying leads to disappointment. From that day on, without realizing it, Marcus began associating effort with risk. Not just risk of failure, but risk of humiliation. He didn't stop dreaming, he just stopped acting on his dreams. Decades later, that 6-year-old version of him was still silently influencing his decisions. This case is a powerful example of how the subconscious can record a single emotionally charged moment and turn it into a life-defining belief. A belief that, unless uncovered, can quietly sabotage success for years to come. The neuroscience of early development. The first few years of life are a critical period for brain development, when the human mind is most malleable and most vulnerable. Neuroscience reveals that a child's brain is not fully developed at birth, but evolves rapidly in structure and function throughout early childhood. During this stage, the brain operates primarily in theta and alpha brainwave states, the same slow-wave patterns associated with deep relaxation, hypnosis, and suggestibility. In this state, children are essentially living in a trance, absorbing information from their environment without judgment or conscious filtering. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logic, self-control, and critical thinking, remains underdeveloped until the mid-20s, meaning children do not yet have the cognitive tools to question what they experience. Instead, everything, tone of voice, body language, emotional climate, repetition of words or behaviors, gets hardwired into the limbic system and subconscious neural pathways. These early experiences shape not just what a child remembers, but how their brain is physically wired to respond to stress, trust, affection, or danger. Repeated emotional experiences, especially those tied to love, shame, fear, or validation, build the child's internal map of the world. What to expect from relationships, what's safe or unsafe, and whether they are worthy or not. Synaptic connections that are used frequently are strengthened. Those that are not are pruned away, a process known as neural pruning. This makes early life not just a time of emotional learning, but of permanent neural sculpting. Without even realizing it, many adults are walking around with subconscious patterns shaped by a child's brain in a grown body. This is the silent power of early development, and why changing behavior as an adult so often requires going back to where the wiring began. Chapter 3. The Silent Puppet Master. It was 2:34 a.m. when Derek pulled into his driveway. The street was dark, the only sound the steady click of his car's cooling engine. He sat there for a moment, staring at the garage door, a strange emptiness behind his eyes. He didn't remember the drive. Not one turn, not one traffic light, not pulling out of the bar parking lot. Nothing. His heart began to race. Did I fall asleep? Did I hit someone? He glanced at the bumper. No dents. The side mirrors were intact. His seatbelt was on. Everything seemed perfect. Somehow, despite a blackout that had wiped his conscious memory clean, Derek had driven 16 kilometers through winding suburban streets and made it home without incident. The next morning, when he told a friend, he laughed it off. Guess I drove on autopilot. But the truth was far more unsettling and far more revealing. This eerie experience was not a fluke. It was the subconscious mind in action. Habits, routines, and automatic behaviors. Habits, routines, and automatic behaviors are the invisible threads weaving through nearly every moment of your daily life. They are the patterns your brain has learned to execute without conscious thought, allowing you to conserve mental energy for new or complex tasks. From the moment you wake up and reach for your phone, to the way you tie your shoes or respond to a stressful email, much of what you do is governed by these ingrained behaviors. Habits form because the brain is wired to seek efficiency. It transforms repeated actions into automatic processes stored deep within the subconscious. This means that once a behavior becomes a habit, your brain no longer needs to actively decide to perform it. Instead, it simply runs on autopilot. This autopilot system helps you navigate life smoothly, but can also lock you into repetitive cycles, whether positive or negative. Importantly, automatic behaviors aren't limited to physical actions. They also include emotional reactions, thought patterns, and ways of interpreting the world, all governed by subconscious programming formed over time. Recognizing which habits serve you and which hold you back is the key to unlocking lasting change. The basal ganglia and muscle memory. At the heart of our brain's ability to automate behaviors lies a small but powerful structure called the basal ganglia. This deep brain region acts like a control center for habit formation and routine execution. When you repeat an action enough times, whether it's tying your shoelaces, playing a musical instrument, or driving a familiar route, the basal ganglia steps in to take over, allowing the behavior to run without conscious effort. This process is often called muscle memory, but it's important to understand that muscles themselves don't have memory. Instead, it's the brain's neural pathways, especially within the basal ganglia, that are strengthened through repetition. As these neural circuits become more efficient, the brain offloads tasks from the conscious mind to the subconscious, freeing up mental energy for new challenges. This is why you can perform complex sequences automatically, even under stress or distraction. The basal ganglia doesn't judge or reflect. It simply executes the program it has been trained to run. While this system is essential for daily functioning and skill mastery, it also means that harmful habits, like negative self-talk or impulsive reactions, can become deeply ingrained, running silently in the background without your awareness. Understanding the role of the basal ganglia shines a light on how powerful and persistent subconscious programming can be, and why conscious effort alone isn't always enough to break old patterns. A man who drives home after a blackout. Perfectly. It was a foggy night when James stepped out of the pub, the world spinning slightly as he fumbled for his car keys. Minutes later, he was behind the wheel, but his mind was a blank slate. He couldn't remember starting the engine or pulling out of the parking lot. As he drove, his consciousness faded in and out, but the car somehow obeyed every turn, every stoplight, every lane change perfectly. When he finally pulled into his driveway, not a single mistake had been made. The next morning, James had no recollection of the drive, yet every movement had been flawless, almost robotic. This unsettling experience highlights the extraordinary power of the subconscious mind. Despite the conscious mind's blackout, the brain's habit center, the basal ganglia, took control, running a well-rehearsed program for driving that James had practiced countless times before. It's as if an invisible puppeteer guided the wheel, steering the car safely through the night. This phenomenon is a vivid reminder that much of what we do is governed by subconscious routines. Actions so deeply embedded that they can operate without conscious thought, even when we're not fully aware. The question is, what else in your life might be running on autopilot without you realizing it? Chapter 4. Dreams. Messages from below. Dreams have fascinated humanity for millennia, often regarded as mysterious messages from a hidden realm within ourselves. But what if dreams are not just random firings of the brain during sleep, but meaningful communications from the subconscious mind, the below layer that quietly governs so much of our waking life? While your conscious mind rests, your subconscious is wide awake, processing emotions, unresolved conflicts, and buried memories. In dreams, this inner world often speaks in symbols, metaphors, and vivid narratives that can feel surreal or puzzling upon waking. Psychologists like Carl Jung believe dreams are a bridge to the unconscious, revealing parts of the self that remain hidden during the day. Dreams can show us fears we avoid, desires we suppress, or truths we deny, all cloaked in stories only our subconscious can tell. Understanding these messages requires learning the language of dreams, symbols, feelings, and context, rather than trying to force literal interpretations. Paying attention to recurring themes, emotions, or unusual imagery can unlock insights into your subconscious programming, revealing patterns or wounds that shape your thoughts and behavior. Dreams are, in essence, nightly communications from the silent puppet master within, urging you to listen if you want to uncover what truly drives you beneath the surface. The psychology of dreams. Dreams have long been a source of mystery and fascination, but psychology offers a window into their deeper significance. Rather than being random images or meaningless noise, dreams are reflections of the subconscious mind at work, processing emotions, memories, and conflicts that the conscious mind may avoid or suppress. Sigmund Freud famously described dreams as the royal road to the unconscious, where hidden desires and unresolved issues find symbolic expression. Later, Carl Jung expanded this view, seeing dreams as a form of communication between the conscious self and the deeper layers of the psyche, often revealing archetypes and inner truths. Psychologically, dreams serve multiple functions. They help integrate new experiences, regulate emotions, and problem-solve complex issues that the waking mind struggles to resolve. The imagery in dreams is often symbolic, requiring interpretation that looks beyond surface details to underlying feelings and associations. Nightmares may signal unresolved trauma or anxiety, while recurring dreams often point to persistent subconscious patterns. By studying dreams, psychologists gain insight into a person's internal world, their fears, hopes, and motivations, making dreams a valuable tool for self-awareness and healing. In short, the psychology of dreams uncovers the hidden narratives your subconscious is trying to share, often when you least expect it.
Carl Jung versus Freud: What your subconscious is trying to say. When it comes to understanding what our subconscious mind communicates through dreams and hidden thoughts, two towering figures in psychology stand at the center of the debate: Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. Freud, often called the father of psychoanalysis, believed dreams were disguised expressions of repressed desires, mostly sexual and aggressive urges, that the conscious mind rejected. For Freud, the subconscious was a battleground of hidden conflicts and forbidden wishes, and decoding dreams was like unlocking a secret code to our unconscious motivations. Jung, Freud's one-time protege, took a different approach. He saw the subconscious not just as a repository of repressed material but as a source of wisdom, creativity, and spiritual insight. Jung introduced the idea of the collective unconscious, a shared psychological heritage filled with archetypes, or universal symbols, that appear in dreams to guide and inform us. While Freud emphasized the personal and often troubling content beneath the surface, Jung highlighted the subconscious as a teacher, offering messages that help us grow and heal. Both perspectives agree that the subconscious speaks in symbols, emotions, and stories, but whether those messages are warnings, desires, or guidance depends on how we choose to listen. Understanding these contrasting views helps you unlock the secret language of your inner world and reveals that your subconscious is always trying to tell you something important, if you're willing to hear it. Dream analysis example from a real therapy session. In one therapy session, a patient named Sarah described a recurring dream that had haunted her for months. She found herself trapped in a dark forest, desperately searching for a path but only encountering thick, tangled undergrowth and eerie silence. At first, the dream filled her with panic and hopelessness, mirroring the anxiety she felt in her waking life. Through guided dream analysis, her therapist helped Sarah explore the symbols within the dream rather than taking it at face value. The dark forest represented the unknown parts of herself, her fears, suppressed emotions, and unresolved conflicts that she had been avoiding. The tangled undergrowth symbolized the mental blocks and limiting beliefs entangling her growth. This dream, rather than a random nightmare, was a message from Sarah's subconscious urging her to face these inner obstacles and find clarity. By acknowledging and working through these fears in therapy, Sarah gradually noticed the dream's tone shift over time, from darkness and confusion to moments of light breaking through the trees, signaling hope and transformation. This real-life example demonstrates how dream analysis can reveal the hidden workings of the subconscious mind, offering clues to emotional healing and personal growth that might otherwise remain buried beneath conscious awareness. Chapter 5: Hypnosis and Altered States. Hypnosis and altered states of consciousness open a fascinating window into the workings of the subconscious mind. When you enter a hypnotic state, your conscious mind, the gatekeeper of logic and skepticism, relaxes its grip, allowing the subconscious to become more accessible. In this state, your brain shifts into slower brainwave frequencies, such as theta waves, which are commonly associated with deep relaxation, meditation, and even the dream state. This altered state creates a heightened openness to suggestion, making it easier to access buried memories, emotions, and patterns stored in the subconscious. Unlike the dramatic portrayals in movies, hypnosis isn't about losing control or being put under, against your will. Rather, it is a natural state of focused attention and receptivity that we all enter daily, for example, when you're completely absorbed in a book or a movie. Therapists use hypnosis to help people uncover hidden traumas, reprogram limiting beliefs, and replace negative habits with positive ones by communicating directly with the subconscious. Understanding hypnosis and altered states reveals how flexible the mind really is, and how tapping into these states can be a powerful tool for healing, transformation, and deeper self-awareness. The power of hypnotic suggestion. Hypnotic suggestion holds remarkable power because it bypasses the critical, conscious mind and speaks directly to the subconscious, where habits, beliefs, and emotions are stored. When a person is in a hypnotic state, deeply relaxed and highly focused, the subconscious becomes more open and receptive to new ideas, images, and commands. This heightened suggestibility allows therapists to introduce positive affirmations, change limiting beliefs, or reduce fears and anxieties by effectively rewriting the subconscious script. Unlike conscious persuasion, which the mind can easily reject or debate, hypnotic suggestions slip past mental defenses, planting seeds of change that grow over time. For example, someone struggling with smoking or procrastination may receive suggestions that reinforce self-control, motivation, or relaxation, which then influence behavior long after the session ends. This subtle but powerful mechanism demonstrates how much of our internal programming can be altered when the subconscious mind is engaged directly, revealing both the vulnerability and incredible potential of the mind beneath awareness. Experiments where people do things they don't remember agreeing to. One of the most unsettling demonstrations of the subconscious mind's power comes from experiments where participants perform actions without any conscious memory of agreeing to them. In controlled psychological studies, individuals placed in hypnotic or highly suggestible states have been instructed to carry out specific tasks, like scratching an itch, ringing a bell, or even more complex behaviors, and then later report no recollection of consenting to or performing those actions. These findings reveal that under certain conditions, the conscious mind can essentially switch off, while the subconscious takes control, executing commands silently and automatically. This dissociation between conscious awareness and behavior challenges our common belief in free will and raises profound questions about how much of our daily life is truly under conscious control. It also highlights the immense influence of suggestion and programming embedded deep in the subconscious, capable of guiding behavior without the person's explicit knowledge. Such experiments underscore the need for awareness and caution regarding what ideas and commands we allow to penetrate the hidden layers of our mind. How to tap into altered states consciously. Tapping into altered states of consciousness consciously is a skill that allows you to access deeper layers of your mind where subconscious programming resides. Unlike accidental slips into daydreams or trance-like moments, intentionally entering an altered state requires focus techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, visualization, or guided hypnosis. These practices slow down brainwave activity, shifting from the fast-paced beta waves of everyday alertness to slower alpha, theta, or even delta waves, which are associated with relaxation, creativity, and subconscious access. In these states, the barriers between conscious control and subconscious influence become more permeable, enabling you to observe hidden thoughts, process repressed emotions, and introduce new, empowering suggestions. Athletes, artists, and meditators often harness altered states to boost performance, creativity, and mental clarity. By learning to enter these states on purpose, you gain a powerful tool for self-discovery, healing, and reprogramming limiting habits, transforming the silent puppet master from an unseen controller into a conscious ally. Chapter 6. Trauma's Hidden Blueprint. Trauma leaves more than just scars on the surface. It etches a hidden blueprint deep within the subconscious mind, silently shaping a person's emotions, behaviors, and perceptions without their full awareness. When an intense traumatic event occurs, the brain's natural survival response can fragment the memory, storing it not as a coherent story but as disjointed sensations, emotions, and body reactions locked away beneath conscious thought. This blueprint often acts like a silent program, automatically triggering fear, anxiety, or avoidance in situations that unconsciously resemble the original trauma, even if the person cannot consciously connect the dots. Because trauma is stored in the subconscious, it bypasses logical reasoning, making its effects unpredictable and difficult to control. This hidden wiring can influence relationships, decision-making, and mental health, sometimes for decades, unless the trauma is consciously acknowledged and processed. Understanding trauma as a hidden blueprint reveals why so many people feel haunted by experiences they struggle to explain, and why healing requires more than just remembering. It requires carefully unraveling the subconscious patterns embedded deep within. How trauma embeds itself deep in the subconscious. When trauma strikes, it doesn't just lodge itself in your conscious memory like a simple event to recall. Instead, it burrows deep into the subconscious, embedding itself in ways that often bypass your conscious awareness. During overwhelming or life-threatening experiences, the brain's survival mechanisms, particularly the amygdala and hippocampus, go into overdrive, prioritizing immediate response over clear, logical processing. This causes memories of trauma to be stored as fragmented sensory impressions, like flashes of images, sounds, or physical sensations, rather than coherent stories. The subconscious holds these fragments tightly, often associating them with strong emotions such as fear, shame, or helplessness. Over time, this hidden imprint becomes a blueprint that influences how a person reacts to seemingly unrelated triggers, manifesting as anxiety, avoidance, or intense emotional responses without conscious explanation. Because the conscious mind did not fully process or integrate the traumatic event, the subconscious keeps replaying it, trying to warn or protect the individual from perceived danger. This deep embedding of trauma in the subconscious explains why healing is often difficult. The wound is not just in memory but woven into the very fabric of one's automatic responses and emotional patterns. PTSD, triggers, and body memory. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is one of the clearest examples of how trauma embeds itself in the subconscious and continues to exert control long after the original event. PTSD arises when the brain's natural healing process is interrupted, leaving the subconscious mind trapped in a loop of fear and hypervigilance. Triggers, sounds, smells, sights, or even feelings that resemble aspects of the trauma can suddenly activate intense emotional and physical reactions, as if the traumatic event is happening all over again. These reactions are often involuntary and overwhelming because the subconscious has linked the trigger to the original threat, even if the conscious mind knows the danger is no longer present. What makes PTSD particularly haunting is the role of body memory, the way the nervous system stores trauma not just as mental images but as physical sensations and automatic responses. The body might tense up, the heart race, or breathing becomes shallow without conscious thought. This somatic imprint can cause sufferers to relive trauma through nightmares, panic attacks, or flashbacks, making the past feel alive in the present. Understanding PTSD, triggers, and body memory reveals how trauma operates beyond just memory. It is a full-body experience encoded deep within the subconscious, demanding recognition and healing at every level. A chilling suspense narrative, a soldier reliving war in his sleep. Every night, the same nightmare pulled Lieutenant James into a dark abyss where the horrors of war were as vivid as waking life. His heart pounded fiercely, sweat soaked his uniform, and his breath came in ragged gasps as the deafening roar of explosions shattered the silence. In his dream, he was back on the battlefield, trapped in a relentless firefight with nowhere to run. The faces of fallen comrades stared blankly from the smoke, their silent screams echoing in his mind. But this was no ordinary dream. James's body reacted as if he were still in danger, muscles tensed, eyes darted beneath closed lids, and he sometimes woke gasping for air. These night terrors were a haunting manifestation of unresolved trauma, where his subconscious mind replayed memories that the conscious mind tried desperately to suppress. Each replay reinforced the trauma's grip, making escape seem impossible, even in sleep. This chilling cycle revealed how trauma's blueprint runs deep in the subconscious, controlling not only waking actions but invading the sacred refuge of rest, reminding us that some wounds are hidden but never truly healed until faced head-on. Chapter 7. Mind Control and Mass Persuasion. You wake up, scroll through your phone, catch a headline, hear a jingle, swipe past a billboard, and by noon, you've already been influenced dozens of times without even realizing it. This is the subtle power of mass persuasion, not loud, not violent, but quietly surgical. Governments, corporations, political movements, and media outlets have long understood that the most effective way to shape human behavior is not through force, but through subconscious manipulation. Propaganda, advertising, and modern media don't aim to convince you in the traditional sense, they aim to program you. They bypass rational thought and go straight to the emotional core, flooding your subconscious with carefully crafted cues designed to steer your attention, emotions, and decisions. Propaganda, advertising, and media. Propaganda, advertising, and media are the most powerful tools of modern mind control, not because they force behavior, but because they subtly rewire perception. Each uses carefully crafted messages to shape how people think, feel, and act, often without conscious awareness. Propaganda, historically used by governments and political movements, relies on emotionally charged language, symbols, and repetition to control public opinion and suppress dissent. Advertising, on the other hand, taps directly into desire and fear, using imagery, sound, and suggestion to bypass rational thought and plant the idea that a product or lifestyle equals happiness, status, or safety. Media, especially in the digital age, blurs the line between information and influence, delivering content through headlines, visuals, and emotional narratives that are curated to provoke specific reactions. Whether it's the fearless tone of a breaking news alert, the emotional pull of a heartfelt commercial, or the calculated phrasing of a political campaign, these mediums all operate on the same psychological principle: influence the subconscious mind by overwhelming the senses and bypassing logic. The result is a culture where many people believe they are thinking freely, when, in reality, their beliefs and behaviors are being shaped by forces they rarely stop to question. Real examples of subconscious manipulation. Subconscious manipulation isn't just theory, it's happening every day, in ways so subtle most people never notice. One of the most famous examples occurred in 1957, when marketing researcher James Vickery claimed to increase concession sales by flashing the words, "Eat popcorn," and "Drink Coca-Cola," for a fraction of a second during a movie. Although the validity of that experiment was later questioned, it sparked global concern over subliminal influence, and inspired decades of covert psychological marketing. Another real-world case emerged in political campaigning, where certain parties used targeted ads on social media to stir fear or loyalty based on psychological profiling. These ads weren't just informative, they were designed to trigger emotional responses using colors, keywords, and imagery fine-tuned to specific personality types. In another experiment, researchers found that simply playing French music in a wine store significantly increased French wine sales, while German music increased German wine sales. Customers were unaware the music had influenced them at all. These examples prove that subconscious manipulation doesn't require force or lies, only the right emotional cues, delivered at the right moment. The scariest part? The more invisible the method, the more effective it becomes. You think you made a choice, when in truth, the choice was already made for you, deep beneath your awareness. The power of repetition and emotional priming. Repetition is one of the most underestimated tools of subconscious influence, yet it is the very backbone of conditioning. The human brain is wired to believe what it hears often, even if it's false, because familiarity creates a sense of safety and truth. This is why advertisers repeat slogans, political campaigns recycle phrases, and media headlines echo the same themes across platforms. Every time a message is repeated, it carves a deeper neural pathway in the brain, making it easier for the subconscious to accept it as reality without questioning its origin. But repetition becomes even more powerful when paired with emotional priming, the psychological technique of triggering a specific emotion just before delivering a message. For example, playing dramatic music before a news report primes the viewer to feel fear or urgency, making them more receptive to the story that follows. A heartfelt commercial might show images of family and nostalgia before introducing a brand, causing the viewer to associate that product with emotional warmth. This pairing of emotional charge with repeated messaging bypasses logic and embeds itself directly into the subconscious. Over time, people don't just remember the message, they feel it. And once emotion fuses with repetition, the belief it creates becomes incredibly difficult to shake, even when facts say otherwise. Chapter 8. Belief is Biology. Belief is biology. How thoughts affect physical health, placebo/nocebo. The mind doesn't just think, it speaks directly to the body in ways science is still uncovering. What you believe can literally change your biology. This is most clearly seen in the placebo effect, where patients experience real healing after receiving treatments with no active ingredients, like sugar pills, saline injections, or fake surgeries. It isn't the treatment itself doing the work, it's the person's belief in the treatment that triggers measurable changes in the brain and body. Pain diminishes, inflammation drops, depression lifts. The body responds to the mind's expectation as if it were real medicine. But just as belief can heal, it can also harm. This is the nocebo effect, when negative expectations lead to real physical symptoms. If a patient is told a harmless drug might cause side effects, they may begin to experience headaches, fatigue, or nausea simply because they believe they will. Both effects prove one thing: the subconscious mind cannot easily distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. Thoughts and beliefs, especially those held with strong emotion, send chemical signals through the nervous system, influencing hormones, immune function, and even how genes express themselves. This is why belief isn't just psychological, it's biological. And understanding this gives you a powerful tool: the ability to begin healing from the inside out. Neuroplasticity and how beliefs shape your brain. Neuroplasticity is the brain's remarkable ability to change its structure, wiring, and function in response to experience, thought, and belief. Unlike what was once believed, that the brain stops evolving after childhood, neuroscience now proves that your brain is constantly adapting, reorganizing itself based on what you think, feel, and do repeatedly. Every belief you hold fires specific neural pathways, and the more often a belief is reinforced, whether true or false, empowering or limiting, the stronger and more automatic that neural circuit becomes. This means your thoughts don't just influence your mood, they physically reshape the architecture of your brain. If you constantly think you're not good enough, your brain wires itself to expect failure, anxiety, or self-doubt. If you believe you can heal, grow, or change, the brain builds new connections that support resilience, hope, and transformation. This process happens beneath conscious awareness, driven by repetition, emotion, and attention, all tools of the subconscious mind. Neuroplasticity is both the proof and the pathway. Proof that the brain is moldable, and a pathway showing that by changing your beliefs, you can literally rewire your mind and body. In a world that often feels fixed and predetermined, neuroplasticity offers a radical truth: your inner world can change your outer reality, one thought at a time. Chapter 9. Rewriting the Code. Rewriting the code of your subconscious mind is both a science and an art, a deliberate process of identifying, challenging, and replacing the automatic beliefs and patterns that silently govern your behavior. Just like a computer's operating system, your subconscious runs the programs it has been fed over time, often without your conscious awareness or consent. These programs dictate how you react to stress, how you perceive yourself and others, and even how you pursue goals or avoid risks. The good news is that this code is not permanent. Through intentional practice, repetition, emotional engagement, and focused attention, you can overwrite limiting scripts with empowering ones. This means changing the subconscious messages from "I am not enough" to "I am capable and worthy," or from fear-driven avoidance to confident action. Rewriting the code requires patience and persistence because the subconscious resists sudden change, preferring familiar patterns even if they cause pain. But with consistent effort, new neural pathways form, old fears lose their grip, and your subconscious mind becomes a powerful ally rather than an unseen jailer. In essence, rewriting the code is reclaiming control over the silent puppet master pulling your strings. Reprogramming your subconscious mind is a transformative journey that requires intentionality, consistency, and self-awareness. Since the subconscious absorbs information primarily through repetition, emotion, and sensory experience, effective reprogramming involves techniques that engage these elements deeply. The process begins by identifying limiting beliefs or negative patterns that operate below conscious awareness, those automatic thoughts and reactions that hold you back. Next, you replace these with positive affirmations, vivid visualizations, and emotionally charged experiences that align with your desired reality. Practices like meditation, hypnosis, and journaling help deepen your connection to the subconscious, making it more receptive to new messages. It's crucial to maintain patience, as the subconscious resists abrupt change and prefers familiar patterns. Persistent and gentle reinforcement is key to creating new neural pathways. Over time, as these fresh beliefs take root, your behaviors, decisions, and emotional responses begin to shift, unlocking hidden potential and aligning your life with your conscious intentions. Reprogramming is not about erasing the past but about rewriting the internal code that shapes your future. Techniques, affirmations, visualization, NLP, journaling. Several powerful techniques have emerged as keys to rewriting the subconscious code, each tapping into the mind's natural ways of learning and adapting. Affirmations involve repeating positive, present-tense statements, like, "I am confident," or "I attract success," to gradually overwrite negative beliefs that live beneath awareness. When spoken with feeling and consistency, affirmations carve new neural pathways that reshape your inner dialogue. Visualization takes this a step further by engaging all your senses to create vivid mental images of your goals or desired states, making them feel real to the subconscious mind. This sensory-rich imagining fuels motivation and reprogramming by activating brain areas linked to emotion and memory. Another effective approach is neurolinguistic programming, NLP, which studies the relationship between language, thought, and behavior, providing techniques to change mental scripts, reframe limiting beliefs, and break automatic patterns. Finally, journaling offers a reflective and creative outlet, helping you uncover hidden beliefs by writing them down, then consciously crafting new narratives. Together, these techniques form a toolkit for transformation. When practiced regularly, they allow you to gently but persistently rewrite the subconscious code that governs your life. To truly rewrite the subconscious code, theory must be paired with action. That's why each chapter concludes with carefully designed exercises that guide you through applying the concepts in your daily life. These exercises are practical, accessible, and aimed at helping you build new neural pathways by engaging repetition, emotion, and focused attention, key elements in subconscious reprogramming. Whether it's crafting personalized affirmations, practicing vivid visualization, journaling to uncover hidden beliefs, or using simple NLP techniques to shift thought patterns, these activities encourage consistent practice and self-reflection. They are tools to help you move from passive learning to active transformation, making the invisible workings of your subconscious mind visible and malleable. By completing these exercises regularly, you lay the groundwork for lasting change, turning abstract ideas into tangible shifts in behavior and mindset. Chapter 10. The Shadow You Ignore. The shadow you ignore is much more than just a metaphor. It is a profound psychological reality that shapes much of your inner life without your conscious awareness. Carl Jung, one of the pioneers of depth psychology, introduced the concept of the shadow as the part of the psyche where everything you reject, deny, or fail to integrate about yourself resides. These can be traits, impulses, desires, or memories that clash with your self-image or societal expectations. Because these aspects feel threatening or shameful, your conscious mind pushes them into the subconscious, hoping to keep them out of sight. But repression is a trick. The shadow doesn't vanish. It lingers, festering beneath the surface, influencing your emotions and decisions in subtle yet powerful ways. This ignored shadow is like a silent saboteur within. It may cause you to act in ways that contradict your conscious goals, procrastinating on dreams, picking fights with loved ones, or repeating destructive habits. For example, a person who denies their anger might find themselves passive-aggressive or inexplicably anxious, never connecting those feelings to the repressed emotion underneath. Because the shadow operates from the subconscious, its influence is indirect and often confusing, leading to internal conflict and emotional turmoil. The more you resist or ignore these hidden parts, the stronger their grip becomes, creating a cycle of avoidance and self-sabotage that feels impossible to break. However, the shadow is not purely a source of darkness, it is also a gateway to wholeness. Jung believed that true psychological health comes from integrating the shadow, acknowledging and accepting these disowned parts of yourself without judgment. When you face the shadow with courage and compassion, you reclaim the energy trapped in denial and transform it into creativity, authenticity, and personal power. This process requires honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths, but it unlocks profound healing. The shadow holds the keys to your hidden strengths and untapped potential, waiting to be discovered and embraced. Ignoring it only prolongs suffering, facing it leads to freedom. Carl Jung's shadow self. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self is a profound psychological discovery that reveals much about the hidden workings of the subconscious mind. The shadow is not a distant myth or abstract idea, it is a real and active part of your psyche, composed of the emotions, desires, traits, and memories that you reject or deny because they clash with your conscious identity or social expectations. These can be traits you judge as negative: anger, envy, greed, selfishness, but also positive qualities you may suppress, like ambition, sexuality, or assertiveness, simply because they don't fit the image you want to project. The shadow resides in the unconscious, meaning you are largely unaware of its contents, yet it exerts a powerful influence on your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. What makes the shadow especially tricky is that it thrives on denial. When you refuse to acknowledge certain parts of yourself, the shadow grows stronger, operating behind the scenes, shaping your reactions, fears, and relationships in ways you may not understand. It often reveals itself indirectly through projection, where you see in others the qualities you refuse to see in yourself, or through patterns of self-sabotage, anxiety, or unexplained emotional reactions. For example, someone who suppresses their anger might find themselves feeling anxious or depressed, or might lash out unexpectedly at minor irritations. Because the shadow is unconscious, it's like a hidden puppet master, controlling your behavior from behind the curtain without your permission or awareness. Jung's groundbreaking insight was that the shadow is not something to be feared or eliminated, but rather integrated. Integration means consciously acknowledging and accepting these hidden parts of yourself, understanding their origins, and finding healthy ways to express or transform them. This process can be uncomfortable and even frightening, as it involves facing the parts of yourself you have long hidden away. Yet it is essential for psychological growth and wholeness. By embracing the shadow, you reclaim lost energy and authenticity, reduce inner conflict, and gain a deeper sense of self-awareness and freedom. In this light, the shadow becomes not an enemy but a powerful source of insight, creativity, and personal strength. Ignoring or repressing it only allows it to control you covertly, sabotaging your efforts to live a fulfilling life. How repressing emotions leads to subconscious sabotage. Repressing emotions is like locking away a storm inside your subconscious, one that never truly dissipates, but only grows in intensity until it demands release, often in unexpected and destructive ways. When emotions such as anger, sadness, fear, or shame are denied or pushed out of conscious awareness, they do not disappear. Instead, they become trapped in the subconscious mind, where they fester and influence behavior below the surface. This repression creates a pressure cooker effect, as the emotional energy seeks expression but is held hostage by fear, social conditioning, or self-judgment. The subconscious mind, which cannot process emotions the way the conscious mind can, begins to translate this buried emotional charge into automatic reactions, habits, and thought patterns, many of which work against your conscious goals. This silent sabotage often shows up as anxiety, unexplained irritability, self-doubt, or compulsive behaviors that seem to arise from nowhere. For example, someone who represses anger may unconsciously undermine their success by procrastinating, doubting their abilities, or avoiding confrontation, even when such behaviors conflict with their conscious desires. Similarly, suppressed fear or trauma can trigger physical symptoms like headaches, digestive issues, or chronic pain, revealing how deeply intertwined mind and body are. Because these emotions are hidden beneath awareness, they operate like a hidden code running in the background, influencing decisions, relationships, and self-esteem without the person realizing the source. Moreover, repression creates a disconnect between the conscious self and the subconscious mind, fracturing your sense of wholeness and authenticity. The more you resist feeling certain emotions, the more they gain power through avoidance, creating repetitive cycles of self-sabotage and emotional distress. True healing begins when you stop fighting these feelings and instead face them with curiosity and compassion, allowing the subconscious to process and integrate the emotions rather than hide them. Only then can you break free from the shadowy grip of repression and reclaim control over your behavior and life. Facing your fears, literally and figuratively. Facing your fears is one of the most daunting yet transformative steps toward healing and self-mastery. Fear, whether physical or psychological, often lurks in the shadowy corners of your subconscious, silently shaping decisions, limiting actions, and keeping you trapped in patterns of avoidance. To face fear literally means confronting situations, objects, or experiences that trigger intense anxiety or discomfort, standing in the face of what your body and mind want to flee from. This might be as concrete as overcoming a fear of heights by climbing a tall building or speaking in public despite the pounding heart and trembling hands. Literally facing fear forces the subconscious to revise its threat assessment and creates new neural pathways that replace panic with confidence. It's exposure therapy in action. Repeated, controlled confrontation desensitizes the mind and body to fear, teaching the subconscious that the perceived danger is often exaggerated or unfounded. Yet, facing fear is just as much a figurative journey, a deeper exploration into the inner fears and limiting beliefs that live beneath your conscious awareness. These fears might not manifest as obvious phobias but as self-doubt, imposter syndrome, or the paralyzing what-ifs that prevent you from pursuing your dreams. Figurative fear demands courage to look inward and acknowledge the parts of yourself you have hidden or denied, the fear of failure, rejection, or inadequacy that whisper lies to your subconscious and sabotage your potential. This inner confrontation requires honest reflection, self-compassion, and often guidance, as you unravel the stories your mind tells to keep you safe. By shining light on these shadowy fears, you weaken their hold and open space for new beliefs rooted in possibility and resilience. Both literal and figurative facing of fear are essential because the subconscious mind learns through experience. When you repeatedly avoid fear, you reinforce its power. When you gradually expose yourself, whether by action or introspection, you rewrite the subconscious narrative. The tension and discomfort that come with facing fear are signs of growth, signaling that you are breaking free from old programming and reclaiming control over your life. Ultimately, confronting fear is not about erasing it but about transforming your relationship with it, turning it from a paralyzing force into a catalyst for courage and change. Chapter 11. Conscious Evolution. Conscious evolution is the deliberate, ongoing process of shaping your mind and life by bringing subconscious patterns into the light of awareness and intentionally guiding their transformation. Unlike passive change, which happens randomly or through external forces, conscious evolution requires active participation. You become the architect of your own mental and emotional growth. This means observing your automatic thoughts, emotional reactions, and ingrained habits without judgment, recognizing which serve your highest good and which no longer align with your goals or values. Through practices like mindfulness, reflection, and subconscious reprogramming techniques, you steadily reshape your inner world, rewiring limiting beliefs and reinforcing empowering ones. Conscious evolution is not a one-time event but a lifelong journey of self-discovery and growth, demanding patience, resilience, and curiosity. As you evolve consciously, you gain mastery over your mind's hidden forces, transforming from a victim of subconscious programming into a creator of your own reality. This evolution empowers you to respond rather than react, to choose growth over stagnation, and to craft a life aligned with your deepest purpose. Integrating subconscious work into daily life. Integrating subconscious work into daily life is the crucial step that turns abstract knowledge into real, lasting transformation. The subconscious mind is always at play, shaping how you perceive the world, respond to stress, and interact with others, not just during moments of reflection or formal practice, but in every waking second. To truly harness its power, subconscious reprogramming must become a natural part of your daily routine, woven into the fabric of ordinary experiences. This begins with cultivating mindfulness, the simple yet profound act of noticing your automatic thoughts, emotional reactions, and habitual behaviors as they arise throughout the day. Instead of being swept away by old programming, mindfulness creates a pause, a space where conscious choice can emerge. Practical strategies help anchor this awareness into daily life. For example, setting clear intentions each morning primes your subconscious to focus on positive goals, shaping how you interpret and respond to challenges. Incorporating affirmations at key moments, before a meeting, during a commute, or when facing a difficult decision, reinforces new beliefs and interrupts negative thought loops. Brief visualization exercises, even lasting just a few minutes, can vividly rehearse success, calm anxiety, or foster resilience, making these desired states feel tangible and achievable to your subconscious. Additionally, journaling for a few minutes each evening allows you to reflect on triggers and victories, deepening self-awareness and reinforcing your evolving mental landscape. It's important to recognize that integration is not about perfection but consistency and compassion. Change within the subconscious is often gradual and nonlinear. Old patterns may resurface as you heal, but each time you choose differently, you strengthen new neural pathways. Building subconscious work into daily life turns transformation into a living practice, empowering you to move through the world with greater presence, clarity, and freedom. Ultimately, this integration transforms everyday moments, your conversations, decisions, and reactions, into powerful opportunities for conscious evolution, enabling you to live not as a slave to hidden programs but as the intentional creator of your reality. Becoming the architect of your mind. Becoming the architect of your mind means taking full responsibility for the design, structure, and function of your inner world. Just as an architect plans and shapes a building with intention and precision, you have the power to consciously design your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional patterns rather than leaving them to the unconscious forces of habit and conditioning. This process starts with awareness, recognizing that much of what runs your mind operates below the surface, silently guiding your decisions, reactions, and life path. With this awareness comes choice. You can either remain a passive occupant, controlled by outdated subconscious programs, or step into the role of an active creator who shapes mental architecture with purpose and care. Being the architect involves evaluating your current blueprint of beliefs and habits, identifying which serve your growth and which hinder it, and then intentionally remodeling those mental frameworks. Tools such as visualization, affirmations, meditation, and cognitive restructuring become your design instruments, helping you rebuild neural pathways and create a mind aligned with your goals and values. This conscious construction is not a one-time project but an ongoing process. Your mind is a living structure, adaptable and evolving. By embracing this role, you reclaim agency over your subconscious programming and empower yourself to build a resilient, thriving mental foundation that supports your fullest potential. Real-life stories of transformation. Real-life stories of transformation serve as powerful testimony to the incredible potential that lies within each person when they engage with the subconscious mind consciously and courageously. These narratives often begin in the depths of struggle, individuals trapped by fears, addictions, limiting beliefs, or traumatic experiences that once seemed unchangeable. For example, a woman haunted by childhood rejection may have spent decades believing she was unworthy of love, acting out those fears in failed relationships and self-sabotaging behaviors. Through consistent subconscious work, using affirmations to build self-worth, journaling to uncover hidden beliefs, and visualization to imagine a future of confidence, she rewired her internal narrative and gradually healed her emotional wounds. Over time, her life transformed. She developed authentic relationships, pursued fulfilling work, and found peace within herself. Another story might follow a man who struggled with anxiety and chronic stress, unknowingly driven by subconscious patterns of fear rooted in early trauma. By learning mindfulness and breathing techniques, coupled with the conscious reshaping of his thoughts, he retrained his brain's response to stress, breaking free from cycles of panic and avoidance. His transformation wasn't instantaneous, but marked by persistence, setbacks, and breakthroughs that deepened his self-awareness and resilience. These stories share common threads: patience, self-compassion, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths. They illustrate that transformation is not about perfection or quick fixes but about steady, intentional evolution. Each individual's journey reflects the core principle of conscious evolution, that by becoming the architect of your mind and integrating subconscious work into daily life, profound change is possible. Sharing these real-life experiences provides not only evidence but also inspiration, lighting a path for readers to believe in their own capacity for growth and to commit to their personal transformation with hope and determination. Chapter Summary: Conscious Evolution. This chapter brings together the insights and tools of subconscious work and places them within the larger context of conscious evolution, the ongoing process of intentionally shaping your mind, habits, and life. It emphasizes that transformation is not a one-time event but a daily practice of awareness, choice, and growth. By integrating subconscious reprogramming techniques into everyday moments and embracing the role of architect of your mind, you empower yourself to break free from old patterns and create new, empowering mental and emotional landscapes. Real-life stories show that this journey is accessible to anyone willing to commit, revealing that conscious evolution is not reserved for the few but is a path open to all who seek lasting change. Ultimately, conscious evolution invites you to live with greater presence, resilience, and purpose, transforming your inner world to create a life aligned with your deepest values and highest potential. Reflection questions. 1. How can you bring subconscious awareness into your daily routines, conversations, and decision-making? 2. What old mental or emotional patterns do you recognize that you want to consciously redesign? 3. In what ways do you currently act as the architect of your mind, and where do you feel more like a passive occupant? 4. Which subconscious reprogramming techniques resonate most with you, and how can you incorporate them consistently? 5. Reflect on a real-life transformation story from this chapter or your own experience. What lessons or inspirations can you draw from it? 6. How does embracing conscious evolution change your view of personal growth and change? 7. What small daily actions can you commit to that will support your ongoing conscious evolution? Chapter 12. Mastering your inner dialogue. Your inner dialogue is the silent narrator of your life, the constant stream of thoughts and words running through your mind every moment, often unnoticed yet profoundly influential. This internal conversation is not mere background noise. It shapes how you see yourself, interpret your experiences, and ultimately, how you behave. The subconscious mind listens closely to this ongoing self-talk, accepting it as truth and using it to guide emotions, decisions, and actions. When your inner dialogue is filled with negativity, doubt, or harsh criticism, it silently programs your subconscious with limiting beliefs that undermine your confidence and sabotage your goals. On the other hand, when you learn to master your inner dialogue, filling it with positive, compassionate, and empowering messages, you begin to rewrite the subconscious code from within, opening the door to lasting transformation. Negative self-talk often manifests as automatic, repetitive thoughts that criticize or diminish your worth. You might catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough, I always fail," or "I don't deserve happiness." These statements, though seemingly harmless or fleeting, act like seeds planted deep in the subconscious soil, growing into powerful limiting beliefs that shape your reality. Because the subconscious cannot distinguish between real and imagined experiences, repeated negative dialogue conditions your mind to expect failure, rejection, or disappointment. This leads to self-sabotage, procrastination, and avoidance behaviors that reinforce the very fears you hope to overcome. Recognizing these destructive patterns is the first step toward change. Transforming your inner dialogue requires cultivating awareness. Mindfulness practices and journaling can help you catch the critical voice mid-thought, shining light on subconscious programming. Once you become aware of negative self-talk, you can begin the essential work of reframing these thoughts. For instance, changing "I'm not good enough" to "I am learning and growing every day" shifts the subconscious message to one of hope and progress. This reframing must be paired with emotional intensity, speaking affirmations with conviction and belief, and repetition to carve new neural pathways that replace old limiting beliefs. Your subconscious thrives on emotionally charged and frequently repeated messages, so consistency is key. Several practical tools support this transformation. Daily affirmations, carefully crafted to feel authentic and relevant, serve as powerful reminders of your worth and potential. Visualization exercises complement affirmations by engaging your senses and emotions, making positive outcomes feel tangible and real to your subconscious. Techniques from neurolinguistic programming, NLP, can help interrupt and reprogram negative thought loops by changing your internal language patterns. Guided meditation and mindfulness further strengthen your ability to observe and direct your inner dialogue consciously. These practices, integrated into daily life, create a robust framework for mastering your self-talk. Mastering your inner dialogue has profound effects beyond your thoughts. It reshapes your habits, decisions, and emotional resilience. People who have embraced this inner mastery often report increased confidence, healthier relationships, and greater success in their goals. The ripple effect of positive self-talk extends into all areas of life, reinforcing a cycle of growth and fulfillment. Yet, this journey is not without challenges. Persistent negative voices and deep-seated skepticism can resist change, and it is crucial to balance optimism with honesty to avoid toxic positivity. Patience and persistence are essential, as rewiring the subconscious is a gradual, nonlinear process. In conclusion, your inner dialogue is a powerful force shaping your subconscious mind and, ultimately, your life. By becoming aware of your self-talk, intentionally transforming negative messages, and consistently practicing supportive techniques, you reclaim your power as the architect of your mental landscape. This mastery opens the door to conscious evolution, allowing you to live with greater freedom, authenticity, and purpose. The subconscious mind and relationships. Our relationships, whether with partners, family, friends, or colleagues, are some of the most profound arenas where the subconscious mind exerts its silent influence. Often, the patterns we repeat in our interactions are not conscious choices but deeply ingrained scripts written by early experiences, childhood attachments, and unresolved emotions stored in the subconscious. These hidden programs shape how we perceive others, respond to conflict, and even choose whom we connect with. Understanding the subconscious roots of our relational behaviors is essential to breaking unhealthy cycles and building meaningful, fulfilling connections. Subconscious programming creates automatic reactions that can either nurture or sabotage relationships. For example, if as a child you experienced inconsistency or rejection, your subconscious may have developed a protective pattern of distrust or neediness. Without awareness, these patterns replay in adulthood as jealousy, clinginess, or emotional withdrawal, often confusing both you and your loved ones. Recognizing these hidden drivers is the first step toward healing. Through subconscious work such as journaling, meditation, and reflective dialogue, you can begin to identify the triggers that activate old wounds and learn to respond consciously rather than react impulsively. Breaking free from unhealthy relationship patterns requires more than willpower. It demands rewiring the subconscious mind to accept new ways of relating. This involves consciously reshaping your beliefs about yourself and others, developing emotional intelligence, and practicing mindful communication. Emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions and empathize with others, acts as a bridge between subconscious impulses and conscious choices. By cultivating this skill, you gain the power to respond to relationship challenges with patience and compassion rather than defensiveness or fear. Conscious communication is another vital tool. It means speaking and listening with full awareness, expressing your needs honestly while respecting the feelings and perspectives of others. This practice helps dissolve misunderstandings and builds trust, creating space for vulnerability and authentic connection. Techniques like active listening, I statements, and pause before reacting give you control over knee-jerk responses driven by subconscious fears. Over time, these conscious habits reshape relational dynamics and encourage healthier, more satisfying interactions. Ultimately, transforming your relationship starts within, by exploring and reprogramming the subconscious mind that quietly governs your patterns of attachment and interaction. With commitment and self-awareness, you can break destructive cycles, cultivate emotional maturity, and create relationships that support your growth and happiness. This chapter invites you to embark on that inner journey, revealing how the subconscious mind both challenges and enriches the connections that shape your life. Chapter 13. The Science of Habit Formation and Change. Habits are the subconscious mind's way of streamlining your daily life, creating automatic routines that free up mental energy for more complex tasks. But how exactly do habits form beneath your conscious awareness? The process begins with a simple loop consisting of 3 parts: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue is a trigger, something in your environment, emotions, or thoughts, that signals your brain to initiate a behavior. The routine is the behavior itself, often performed automatically without conscious decision. The reward is the payoff, the satisfaction or relief your brain associates with completing the routine. Over time, this loop becomes ingrained in your subconscious, turning conscious actions into automatic habits. This process is powered by brain structures like the basal ganglia, which encode and store habits, freeing up your conscious mind to focus elsewhere. Understanding this loop is crucial when it comes to breaking bad habits and establishing positive ones. Because habits run on automatic pilot, sheer willpower rarely suffices to change them. Instead, successful transformation involves interrupting the cue routine reward cycle and consciously reshaping it. One effective strategy is to identify your habit cues and consciously modify the routine that follows. For example, if stress triggers a habit of overeating, you can replace the routine with a healthier alternative like deep breathing or a short walk. The reward must still satisfy the subconscious craving, so finding a positive replacement that delivers a similar emotional or physical payoff is key. Consistent repetition of this new loop gradually rewires your subconscious, creating new neural pathways that make positive habits your default. Rewards play a powerful role in habit formation and change because the brain learns to seek pleasure and avoid discomfort. Some habits form because they provide immediate gratification, even if harmful long-term. Understanding this helps you design rewards that support your goals, reinforcing positive behavior. Additionally, cues can be altered by changing your environment, removing triggers for bad habits or introducing prompts that encourage good ones. Routine and repetition, combined with mindful awareness, solidify these new patterns. This science of habit formation highlights that habits are not fixed but malleable, subject to conscious influence and rewiring. By harnessing the brain's natural habit loop, you can break free from destructive cycles and build lasting, empowering behaviors that support your highest potential. Creativity and the subconscious mind. Creativity often feels like a mysterious spark, an elusive moment when ideas flow effortlessly and solutions appear from nowhere. Behind this magic lies the powerful work of the subconscious mind, quietly fueling your creative abilities and problem-solving skills. Unlike the conscious mind, which processes information logically and sequentially, the subconscious operates through associations, patterns, and emotions, making connections that your waking mind might overlook. It gathers fragments of experiences, knowledge, and feelings, blending them into fresh ideas during moments of rest, sleep, or even distraction. This is why many breakthroughs and inspirations often arrive when you step away from focused thinking, while showering, walking, or drifting into sleep, allowing the subconscious mind to work behind the scenes. Tapping into this wellspring of subconscious creativity requires specific techniques that help bypass the chatter of the conscious mind and access deeper insights. Practices such as free writing, mind mapping, or automatic drawing encourage your subconscious to express itself without censorship or judgment. Meditation and visualization open pathways to the subconscious by quieting conscious distractions and inviting intuitive ideas to surface. Another powerful tool is dream journaling, where recording and reflecting on dreams reveals symbolic messages and hidden creative inspiration. Even deliberate breaks from focused work, what some call incubation periods, allow your subconscious mind to process complex problems and synthesize novel solutions. Cultivating curiosity and openness to seemingly random thoughts or feelings also helps you recognize valuable insights that your subconscious offers. However, creative blocks can arise when subconscious fears, limiting beliefs, or unresolved emotions interfere with the free flow of ideas. These blocks may manifest as procrastination, self-doubt, or a feeling of being stuck, and often signal that the subconscious mind is protecting you from perceived risks or failure. Exploring these barriers through subconscious work, such as journaling, therapy, or mindfulness, can uncover the root causes and gently release their hold. Embracing imperfection, experimenting without pressure, and nurturing self-compassion create a safe mental space for creativity to flourish again. By understanding and working with the subconscious mind, you transform creative challenges into opportunities for growth, allowing your full imaginative power to emerge and enrich your life. The role of meditation and mindfulness in subconscious healing. Meditation and mindfulness have emerged as powerful tools for healing and transforming the subconscious mind, fundamentally altering brain activity and emotional patterns. At its core, meditation creates a state of focused awareness that quiets the relentless chatter of the conscious mind, allowing the deeper layers of the subconscious to surface and be observed without judgment. Neuroscientific studies show that regular meditation reshapes brain regions associated with stress, emotional regulation, and self-awareness, fostering neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to rewire itself. This neuroplasticity underpins the subconscious healing process, as new, healthier neural pathways replace old patterns tied to trauma, anxiety, or limiting beliefs. Different meditation practices serve unique roles in subconscious work. Mindfulness meditation encourages present moment awareness, helping practitioners notice automatic thoughts and emotions as they arise, creating space for conscious choice rather than reactive habits. Guided visualization uses imagery to influence the subconscious directly, often employed to rehearse positive outcomes or release painful memories. Transcendental meditation, with its use of mantras, helps quiet the mind deeply, enabling access to profound subconscious states and inner peace. Loving-kindness meditation cultivates compassion toward oneself and others, softening harsh self-judgments stored in the subconscious. Each approach offers pathways to integrate subconscious healing into personal practice, and many practitioners find blending techniques yields the best results. Integrating mindfulness into daily life extends the benefits of formal meditation, offering ongoing mental clarity and emotional balance. Mindfulness means bringing attentive, non-judgmental awareness to everyday activities, eating, walking, speaking, or feeling emotions, so you remain connected to the present moment rather than lost in subconscious reactivity. This continuous practice strengthens the ability to recognize and shift subconscious patterns as they arise, preventing old triggers from dictating behavior unconsciously. Over time, mindfulness nurtures resilience, emotional intelligence, and a harmonious inner landscape. By weaving meditation and mindfulness into your routine, you harness the power of the subconscious mind as an ally in healing, growth, and conscious evolution. Challenges and pitfalls. Embarking on the journey to master your subconscious mind is deeply rewarding but not without its challenges and pitfalls. One of the most common obstacles is dealing with persistent negative voices, the internal critics that seem to echo endlessly, casting doubt on your progress and worthiness. These voices often stem from deeply ingrained subconscious programming and can be surprisingly resistant to change. Skepticism, whether from within yourself or from others around you, can also create barriers, sowing seeds of doubt about whether transformation is truly possible. Recognizing these voices as echoes of old conditioning rather than objective truths is crucial to prevent them from undermining your efforts. Learning to observe these negative narratives without judgment or reaction creates the mental space needed for new, empowering beliefs to take root. Another pitfall to be wary of is toxic positivity, the unrealistic insistence on maintaining a positive outlook at all times, which can invalidate genuine feelings and experiences. While optimism is a powerful tool in subconscious work, it must be balanced with honesty and self-compassion. Suppressing or ignoring difficult emotions in the name of positivity only pushes unresolved issues deeper into the subconscious, where they may resurface later as self-sabotage or emotional blockages. True healing requires acknowledging discomfort and facing fears with courage, not masking them. This balanced approach fosters authentic growth and emotional resilience. Above all, patience and persistence stand as the pillars of lasting change. Rewiring the subconscious mind is a gradual, nonlinear process often marked by setbacks, plateaus, and moments of frustration. Instant transformation is rare. Instead, change unfolds through consistent effort, repeated practice, and gentle self-encouragement. Embracing the journey with patience allows you to navigate challenges without losing momentum or hope. Persistence builds new neural pathways and strengthens the habits that align with your desired growth. By accepting these challenges and pitfalls as natural parts of the evolution process, you cultivate the resilience needed to master your subconscious mind and create meaningful, lasting transformation. Mastering your inner dialogue is a transformative journey that begins with awareness and unfolds through intentional practice. Throughout this chapter, we explored how the silent stream of self-talk shapes your subconscious beliefs and behaviors, often determining your success, happiness, and emotional well-being. Negative self-talk, when left unchecked, embeds limiting beliefs deeply into your subconscious, while positive, empowering dialogue rewires your mind to support growth, resilience, and confidence. Techniques such as mindfulness, affirmations, visualization, and neurolinguistic programming provide practical tools to identify, challenge, and reshape your inner narrative. Yet, the path to mastering your self-talk is not always easy. It requires patience, persistence, and a balanced approach that honors your authentic emotions. To deepen your awareness and accelerate your transformation, reflect on these questions. What are the most common messages you tell yourself throughout the day? How do these messages influence your feelings and actions? Can you identify patterns of negative self-talk, and what triggers them? In what ways would your life improve if you cultivated a kinder, more supportive inner dialogue? How willing are you to challenge long-held beliefs that no longer serve you? Begin practicing mastery of your inner dialogue today with these exercises. First, keep a daily journal to capture your thoughts and notice recurring negative phrases. Next, craft 3 personalized affirmations that feel believable and meaningful, and repeat them aloud each morning and evening with intention and feeling. Incorporate brief visualization sessions where you imagine yourself succeeding, confident and calm, reinforcing positive self-talk. Finally, when negative thoughts arise, pause to label them without judgment, and consciously replace them with your affirmations or reframed statements. Over time, these small but consistent practices will reshape your subconscious landscape, empowering you to live with greater self-compassion, clarity, and control. Chapter 14. Emotional Intelligence, the bridge between subconscious and conscious. Emotions are often misunderstood as fleeting feelings that come and go without much significance. Yet they are powerful signals originating from the subconscious mind, communicating vital information about our needs, values, and internal conflicts. Emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage these emotions, serves as the crucial bridge between subconscious impulses and conscious awareness. When you develop emotional intelligence, you gain access to a deeper understanding of yourself, allowing you to decode the messages your subconscious sends and respond with wisdom rather than reaction. This bridge enables you to transform automatic, often unconscious emotional reactions into deliberate, thoughtful responses, creating harmony between your inner world and outer actions. Developing emotional awareness begins with tuning into your feelings with curiosity and without judgment. Instead of pushing uncomfortable emotions away or getting swept up in them, emotional intelligence encourages you to observe your emotional landscape as a source of insight. What triggers certain emotions? What subconscious beliefs or past experiences might be influencing your current state? By answering these questions, you uncover the roots of your emotional responses, empowering you to regulate them more effectively. Regulation doesn't mean suppressing emotions but managing them in ways that support clarity and constructive action. Techniques such as mindful breathing, labeling emotions, and reflective journaling are tools that help you develop this skill, strengthening your capacity to navigate emotional challenges with grace and balance. The benefits of emotional intelligence extend beyond self-understanding. They profoundly improve decision-making and relationships. When you can recognize the emotional undercurrents influencing your choices, you make decisions that are more aligned with your authentic values and long-term goals. In relationships, emotional intelligence fosters empathy and effective communication, helping you connect with others on a deeper level and resolve conflicts without escalating tension. As you strengthen this bridge between subconscious feelings and conscious thought, you create a foundation for personal growth and meaningful connections. Emotional intelligence transforms not only how you experience your inner world but also how you engage with the world around you, making it an essential skill on the path of conscious evolution. The subconscious mind and decision-making. Every choice you make, from the smallest daily decisions to life-altering crossroads, is influenced by a powerful undercurrent beneath your conscious awareness, your subconscious mind. This hidden layer of processing holds deep-seated biases, memories, and emotions that shape your preferences and judgments long before your conscious mind weighs in. These subconscious biases can steer decisions in ways that feel automatic and effortless, yet sometimes they lead you astray, fueling impulsive choices, reinforcing limiting beliefs, or keeping you trapped in familiar patterns. Understanding how the subconscious influences your decision-making is crucial to gaining greater control and alignment in your life. Subconscious biases operate through mental shortcuts known as heuristics, which help your brain process complex information quickly but can introduce errors in judgment. For example, confirmation bias causes you to favor information that supports your existing beliefs, while anchoring bias can make your decisions overly influenced by initial impressions. These biases often go unnoticed because they function beneath conscious awareness, making it difficult to see their impact. To make more conscious and aligned decisions, it's essential to cultivate mindfulness and reflective practices that slow down your thought processes. Techniques such as pausing before reacting, examining underlying beliefs, and seeking diverse perspectives help illuminate subconscious influences and open space for intentional choice. Intuition, often described as a gut feeling or inner knowing, is a fascinating intersection between subconscious processing and conscious decision-making. It represents the subconscious mind's ability to synthesize vast amounts of information and past experience rapidly, delivering insights that might elude rational analysis. While intuition can be a valuable guide, it must be balanced with critical thinking to avoid impulsivity or bias-driven errors. Cultivating a dialogue between intuition and reason empowers you to make decisions that are both deeply informed and aligned with your true values. By learning to recognize and trust your subconscious signals, while applying conscious reflection, you harness the full potential of your mind to navigate choices with confidence and clarity. Harnessing the power of visualization and mental rehearsal. Visualization is more than simply imagining a desired outcome. It is a powerful mental practice that actively rewires the brain to enhance performance, build confidence, and align your subconscious mind with your conscious goals. Neuroscience reveals that vividly imagining an action or success stimulates many of the same brain regions involved in actually performing the activity. This mental rehearsal creates and strengthens neural pathways, effectively training your brain as if you were physically practicing. Over time, this rewiring embeds new beliefs and skills deep into your subconscious, making desired behaviors feel natural and automatic. Visualization thus acts as a bridge between intention and reality, allowing you to mentally prepare for success even before taking physical action. To harness the full potential of visualization, practical exercises are essential. Begin by finding a quiet space where you can relax and focus without interruption. Close your eyes and vividly picture yourself achieving your goal, whether it's delivering a confident presentation, winning a race, or creating a masterpiece. Engage all your senses. Imagine the sights, sounds, smells, and feelings associated with your success. Repeat this mental rehearsal regularly, ideally daily, to reinforce the neural pathways. Pair visualization with positive affirmations and controlled breathing to deepen the emotional impact and embed the experience more firmly in your subconscious. Journaling about your visualized outcomes and the emotions they evoke can further anchor these mental rehearsals into your daily life. Throughout history, countless athletes, artists, and leaders have credited visualization as a key to their achievements. Olympic champions mentally rehearse every detail of their performance to enhance precision and confidence under pressure. Renowned musicians visualize the flow of their compositions before stepping onto the stage, tuning their subconscious to the nuances of expression. Visionary leaders use mental imagery to foresee challenges and strategize responses, aligning their subconscious mind with their vision. These stories illustrate that visualization is not mere wishful thinking but a scientifically supported method to train your brain and subconscious for success. By adopting these practices, you unlock a powerful tool to shape your reality from the inside out. Overcoming fear and anxiety through subconscious work. Fear and anxiety are among the most common and challenging emotions humans face, often arising without clear reasons and disrupting daily life. Beneath these surface feelings lies the powerful influence of the subconscious mind, where deeply rooted fears, past traumas, and limiting beliefs quietly reside. These subconscious imprints shape how you perceive threats and stressors, often triggering automatic fight or flight responses that may be disproportionate or outdated in your current reality. Understanding the subconscious roots of fear and anxiety reveals that these emotions are not just random malfunctions but protective mechanisms shaped by past experiences. This insight is the first step toward reclaiming control and healing. Reprogramming fears embedded in the subconscious requires intentional techniques that gently replace old, limiting patterns with new, calming ones. One effective tool is guided visualization, where you imagine yourself facing feared situations with confidence and calm, training your subconscious to accept safety instead of danger. Affirmations crafted to affirm safety and strength help counteract negative self-beliefs and reinforce a sense of security. Mindfulness and meditation cultivate present moment awareness, reducing the tendency to ruminate on past traumas or future worries. Additionally, techniques like tapping, emotional freedom technique, or hypnosis can access subconscious layers directly, releasing stuck emotional energy and fostering relaxation. Consistency in these practices rewires the subconscious, transforming fear responses into resilience and peace. The mind-body connection plays a critical role in managing anxiety. The subconscious mind stores trauma not only as memories but as physical sensations, tightness, racing heart, or shallow breathing, that perpetuate anxiety cycles. Practices such as deep breathing, yoga, or progressive muscle relaxation help soothe the nervous system and signal the subconscious that the body is safe. By integrating these somatic approaches with subconscious reprogramming, you address both the mental and physical dimensions of fear and anxiety. This holistic approach empowers you to break free from anxiety's grip, fostering a lasting sense of calm and emotional balance. Through subconscious work, fear loses its power, and you reclaim a life marked by courage and serenity. Overcoming fear and anxiety through subconscious work. Fear and anxiety are more than fleeting emotions. They often originate deep within the subconscious mind, shaped by early experiences, unresolved trauma, and ingrained beliefs. These hidden roots influence how you perceive threats and stress, sometimes triggering intense reactions to situations that no longer pose real danger. The subconscious mind, programmed to protect you, can keep you trapped in cycles of fear by replaying outdated survival mechanisms. Recognizing these subconscious origins is crucial to breaking free from anxiety's grip, as it allows you to approach fear not as an external enemy but as an internal signal needing compassionate understanding and rewiring. Reprogramming these fears involves practical tools designed to gently shift subconscious patterns toward calm and resilience. Visualization techniques enable you to imagine confronting feared scenarios with confidence and safety, gradually training your subconscious to respond differently. Affirmations, carefully worded positive statements, counteract negative self-beliefs and reinforce a sense of security. Mindfulness practices anchor you in the present moment, reducing the habitual mental spirals that feed anxiety. More advanced methods like hypnosis or emotional freedom technique, EFT, tap directly into subconscious layers, releasing trapped emotional energy and reshaping fear responses. Consistent use of these tools fosters new neural pathways, helping your mind embrace calm instead of chaos. The mind and body are deeply interconnected in the experience of anxiety, as the subconscious stores fear not only as mental patterns but also as physical sensations, tightness in the chest, shallow breathing, or muscle tension. Addressing this somatic aspect is essential for true healing. Practices such as deep breathing exercises, yoga, or progressive muscle relaxation soothe the nervous system, signaling safety to the subconscious mind. By integrating these body-based techniques with subconscious reprogramming, You create a holistic approach that addresses both emotional and physical dimensions of anxiety. Through this combined effort, fear gradually loses its hold, and you reclaim peace, balance, and the freedom to live fully. You've just taken a powerful step into the world of the subconscious, the place where real transformation begins. If this audiobook helped shift your thinking, sparked clarity, or opened a door within you, don't keep it to yourself. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs it. Every click, every share, and every new subscriber helps this channel grow, so we can continue creating content that empowers people to think deeper, live better, and rewrite the stories running their lives. Your support isn't just appreciated, it's what makes all of this possible. This may be the end of the audiobook, but it's just the beginning of your journey. Keep revisiting the tools. Practice the exercises. Reflect on the insights. Because the more you engage with your subconscious, the more conscious and powerful your life becomes. Until next time, stay aware, stay grounded, and keep mastering the mind beneath the mind.